Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Now, it's only a couple of days to go until the new Arsenal Adidas kit launch. No more of this kit. This kit will be defunct after Monday, July the 1st. That's when the new kit launches. And the frustrating situation for all Arsenal fans is that we still have not signed anybody. There's been a lot of talk. They're going to be unveiled in the new kit. Listen, who knows? Maybe someone is going to be unveiled in the new kit. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it. There was leaked videos actually yesterday of the kit launch, confirming that the kit, which we have all seen, has been leaked out, is going to be the kit. And actually, that was a really funny video with like Ian Wright in there, and it's got all the Arsenal players talking in real London accents. Really funny video. Actually, you know, I was watching that video just before we get in speaking about these transfers, right? Very interestingly, watch that video, listen to the accents, what they put on the players. And all these fans out there and haters out there have always dissing people like Troops. Oh, the way he talks. What accents have they put on those players? Right, but getting back into it, as I said, who are we going to sign? Now, it's been 3 years now since Arsenal have been in the Champions League. We're really suffering because of that. The income's not coming in. We all know about this limited budget, and we've got an owner that basically is not going to put his hand into his own pocket to shell out on players, which means if we're going to raise the budget above that so-called 45 million, which we can't understand because we're just getting a kit deal with Adidas worth 300 million, that means that players have to go. But it's getting rid of those players that is the big problem. Squadron Mustafi today linked with a move away from Arsenal, which I know there'll be a lot of fans jumping up and down, celebrating at the moment, to Fenerbahçe. Fenerbahçe said to be interested in Squadron Mustafi, who's now 27. We don't have to talk much about Mustafi. It's not been a good time. Actually, when he first came to Arsenal, there was a year when he did really well with him and Koscielny. They were striking up a good partnership. But since then, it's really gone downhill. He had a very poor season last year. Just seems very error-prone, you know, and seems to make a lot of mistakes. And basically, he's been a flop. We bought him for £35 million in 2016. Now we're desperate to sell him. If we do sell him, we'd be lucky to get around about £15 million for him, excuse me, which would be a massive loss. £20 million loss. That's if we even get that for him. But Fenerbahçe said to be interested. The problem with all of these, and I saw lots of fans commenting and saying, yeah, sell him immediately, get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. The problem with this is if Mustafi wants to leave, suppose he doesn't want to go. We know that Arsenal want to sell him. They tried to sell him in previous years. They haven't had no takers. Unai Emery apparently has lost complete faith in him and wants to sell him. But are there any takers? Fenerbahçe, the only team at the moment that seems to be coming forward with any interest. So it's going to be, you know, interesting to watch this situation to see if he will be an Arsenal player come mid-August. And then there's also Mesut Ozil. What's happening with him? Again today, the information coming out of Arsenal is that they just can't find any buyers for Mesut Ozil. Again, Unai Emery wants to move him on. It's obvious that Emery doesn't really, you know, it's not that he don't rate Ozil, but he just does not fit in the system that Unai Emery wants to play. He wants players that are going to close down, work hard. You know, that's not Mesut Ozil. He's not going to do none of that. They're struggling to find takers for him. All the takers put off by his whopping £350,000 a week wages. I know there'll be fans out there, yeah, let him go to China, let him go. It's up to Mesut Ozil if he wants to go to these places because he's still under contract. And if he says, I ain't going, which all the sounds coming out of his camp from his agent, everybody has said he's very happy in London, which suggests he doesn't want to go anywhere. That means that we are stuck with Mesut Ozil and will not be receiving any money for him. And again, how much money would Mesut Ozil bring in. Because of those wages, we'd have to sell him for a very low transfer fee, and I couldn't see us getting anything above about 20 million for him. Now 30. Mkhitaryan's another one. Come in as part of that deal, the Alexis deal. Didn't really pay lots of money for him. I think it's about 20 million in the end, but he's not really done it at Arsenal. Not really, he had little bits and bobs here and there, but consistently has not done it for Arsenal. He is a quality player, but he's just not done it. And again, another player in his 30s, 30 years of age now, another player on massive wages, 200 grand a week, low transfer fee we paid for him, but high wages. Again, nobody wants to pay those wages to Henrik Mkhitaryan. There's players out there, younger, who are flying. The wages are way less, and so nobody is prepared to take that gamble on a player like Mkhitaryan. So again, we're stuck with Mkhitaryan. It's almost like with these guys, we can't get no value from them whatsoever. We've got a lot of players with no value. There's Nacho Monreal, who I think Arsenal want to move on. We know they're looking at Tierney and people like that. Again, Nacho's in his 30s now. There has been interest from clubs in Spain, but again, it's not going to be a big transfer fee. And then today, hearing that Christian Bielik, who's one of our young players who went out on loan to Charlton last year, did brilliantly, was sort of man of the match in the Championship, in the League One final, which got Charlton up to the Championship. He was starred for the Polish under-21 team, was really, really good in that. Looks like he's really hit form, can play centre-back, can play defensive midfield. But he's saying today he wants to leave, or, those are the hints coming out of his camp. He doesn't want to go out on loan again. He wants to play in the first team. Is it time to promote him, or do we sell Bielik? And again, not going to get mega money for a player like Christian Bielik, are we? Although maybe it's time to give him a chance. There's these Aubameyang rumours that have been out there today. I was debating whether to even mention this. It's so ridiculous. A publication over there in Italy, just because they're trying to help through the move for Lukaku to go to Inter Milan, have just suggested that Solskjaer wants Aubameyang. There's no basis to it. There's no information on it. It's just the most ridiculous link out there. You delve deep into that link that's out there today, and you see that there's no basis to it whatsoever. I'm not saying that, you can never ever say never, but there is absolutely no basis to it at all. Arsenal do not want to sell Aubameyang. He's one of their key players, and this link is just absolute rubbish. So if you see it out there today, I wouldn't worry about it too much. This linking Aubameyang away. Actually, the other sort of ridiculous link that was out there was the one that said, based off of something that David Ornstein said, which wasn't the facts, but they twisted it around, where they said, in order to sign Wilfried Zaha, Arsenal would be looking to sell Aubameyang. That is not what he said. But anyway, I put it out there yesterday in a poll, and I said, would you sell Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to raise the funds to buy Wilfried Zaha and bring him in at Arsenal? 85% of you said no chance. We'll keep Aubameyang. Only 15% of you said yes. That is overwhelming that fans want to keep Aubameyang. So ridiculous link. What about Lewis Dunk? Well, we've spoken about him a couple of times before on the show. Excellent defender. He's been consistent for Brighton. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, he's Brighton. It doesn't matter. He's been playing in the Premier League, and he's been a consistent defender. He's burst into the England team. He's the captain of Brighton. He's experienced, 27 years of age. Now, Brighton have apparently named their price. There's been a lot of interest from clubs for Lewis Dunk. Brighton have apparently come out and said, listen, we're not selling Dunk for anything less than £30 million. He's under contract till 2023. And as I said, he's a very important player for Brighton. Now, to me, when I look at that, 30 million for Lewis Dunk. We paid 35 million for Mustafi. But we've seen Dunk over the seasons. He's a very good player. I look at that and I'm like, Arsenal, what are we waiting for? We should be straight in. He's just the type of player, in my opinion, that would improve Arsenal's defence. He's, as I said, he's the captain of Brighton, a good captain. He's a leader. He's just the type of defender I think we need. That strong defender, rugged, gets in there. He's good at set pieces as well. Lewis Dunk for £30 million. If Harry Maguire, and I'm not saying that Dunk is better than Maguire because I think Maguire's got better ball playing skills, but I'd say as an out and out defender, I'd probably maybe prefer Dunk because just the defensive side only. For £30 million when Maguire's been costed at 80 to 100 million, I think it's an absolute steal. And I'm like, if that is true and that is the price, what are we waiting for? We should be steaming in there to get Lewis Dunk. But, you know, I'd love to get your opinions on it. What do you think? We're going to put that to a poll today. Lewis Dunk. Should Arsenal be moving for a player like Lewis Dunk? In my opinion, you've just heard it, but I'd love to hear your opinion. There'll be other people out there saying, he's just average. He's just, price is high because he's an English player. But for me, and it'd be good to get an English international into the team as well. And I feel that he would come because he, as I said, he's sort of bursting into the England team at the moment, quite late because he's 27. You've got the Euros coming up. The opportunity for Lewis Dunk to play at a team like an Arsenal would definitely help his chances of getting into the England team because playing for Brighton, obviously not the most glamorous of clubs, it makes it a lot harder for him. Why are we not moving for a player like this? We are, of course, trying to get the William Saliba deal done. That does look like it's happening. Talks are still ongoing on that one. Whether he'll be loaned back or not, we don't know. But that one is still ongoing. Kieran Tierney, the talks for that one's still ongoing as well. Celtic definitely holding out for that big 25 million fee. They've knocked Arsenal back a couple of times, and I don't think Arsenal are going to get this one done unless they get near to that asking fee, which is a high asking fee. But listen, the guy's been playing well. If you want to get him, this sort of money we're going to have to pay. And the links continue today to the Borussia Dortmund centre-back, Dan Axel Zagadou from Dortmund, a young player. Spoke about it a couple of days ago. He apparently wants to leave Dortmund. He's made it quite clear that he'd be happy to leave. As I said, game time for him and also Julian Weigl. Going to be maybe possibility they could be limited now that they've brought back Mats Hummels. Arsenal apparently showing it interested in, and he would be interested in a move. But again, we're going to have to keep our eyes on that one and see how that one develops out. Let's get into a couple of your comments. Academy says, problem, loaning Saliba back. Solution, give them Mustafi, he'd be great in the French league. As I said, it's not a matter of just, have Mustafi. It's contracts. Players got to say, well, yeah, I'll be happy to go to Saint Etienne. Is Mustafi going to say that? No chance. Big O says, instead of buying young players from other clubs, why don't we just use our youth players? It may be the answer. It may be the way to go, that we just say, that's how we're going to have to go forward, just using these young players. Reece Jones says, Robbie, I'm panicking. Chelsea have acquired more players than us and they have a transfer ban. I mean, that's the big joke of it, that Chelsea got a transfer ban and they're still spending £40 million on Kovacic. The reason why they're able to do that is because it's something to do with the registration. They don't have to register Kovacic because they had him on loan, so they can buy him. But they're buying Kovacic £40 million. And we're being told that we've only got 45 million to spend. They got a transfer ban. But also assets. They sold Hazard 80 million. So they've got money to spend. And they're in the Champions League. And finally, this one, before I get too depressed. Matty K says, hope Robbie appreciates us. Click every video straight away, even when we know we are signing no one. Listen, I do think we will be signing players. It's just not the high caliber of players that we really want at the moment. And I really do appreciate every click. I really do, and every view. And keep watching. We're going to keep reporting on it day after day. Even when we were over in America, even on sociable hours in the night, because of that big time difference, I'll still be doing Transfer Daily every day. And I'm just hoping and praying that we're just going to get some decent signings through the door, because how are we going to get into the Champions League? We've been out of it for 3 seasons. How are we going to get back into it if it's more or less the same team? We're not. We're not. I can't see us getting back into the Champions League if we just add Saliba and Kieran Tierney. We might do a bit better. We might be a bit more dynamic. We're not going to get back into the Champions League if that's just what we're adding. We need more than that. But let's see how it goes. Thanks for watching the show today, and we will be back tomorrow.